Alright guys, I've been looking around on YouTube for a good video. Didn't really see any good explanations about how to use this chain breaker slash riveting tool. I'm in the process of removing my chain from my GSX 750, so I'm changing the sprocket and the chain out, so I have to remove the chain. So one thing that you got to do is the GSX 750 doesn't come with a master link, so you actually have to grind down, which I already did, and you can see that the little rivet or whatever it's called is already grinded down and already loosened. And the reason is I realized I just checked on YouTube to see if there were any good videos of using this tool, because it took me a minute to figure out how to use it. So there weren't. So I realized it's more than halfway through as I was removing the chain. Uh, so let me just show you. It's relatively really simple, but it's kind of complicated if you don't know what you're doing the first time. So it comes from the box like this. This is usually closed up, so all you gotta do is just loosen this so you can pull this thing out. One of the first things you want to do is we're talking about removing the chain, so remove this top piece right over here. Sorry, I'm doing this with one hand, so this might be a little bit of a longer video. Alright, so then this is separated. Then the next thing is you want to remove this bottom piece right over here. So once again, just rotate it out. Alright, so you can put those to the side. So now you have essentially a hole. And the way this is going to work is the front of the chain, this is how it's going to sit. So this back piece right over here, let me see if we can get it. This back piece will sit on the back side. So right like that. It'll pretty much sit flush. Look right there. See how it's sitting flush? And then this is where you will insert the pins that are right over here. So for my bike, it's this one. So the way that now is when you can get into the whole process of sort of building this or piecing it together. So you got your little pin tool here. You put the spring in up top. So you have this. Okay. Then you will drop. Please stay up. Nope. You will drop this into this hole. So right over here. And don't worry if it doesn't fall through right away. That's not a big deal. So remember, we just drop that into here. So the spring will essentially, it's going to be spring loaded. So when you press down, and I will show you. So now that first piece that you remove from the top, you can just screw it back in very slowly. Make sure that the reds line up. Screw it in, and then you can see that slowly the pin is coming out. For some reason mine was not spring loaded the first time. Yeah, it's not really spring loaded right now, but no biggie. And just keep an eye on the distance. You don't want to make it too tight, because then it's not going to fit. So on the chain itself, so just keep coming back and checking. So like for example, I got it perfect, believe it or not. So right over, clear up. So you can see the gap is perfect on here right now. So the next thing is that you can use the lever. So it's up top, lever right over here. Put that into here, and then you can also use the handle. It's not really required if you want to, but you can. The handle will go right into here. Just screw it in. Sorry once again for the poor angles. Alright, so now that we got everything on, you can pick this up. And I don't know how I'm gonna be able to do this with one hand, but it probably won't. But let me see. Yeah, I won't be able to do this with one hand, but let me. Essentially, all you're gonna do now is you're just gonna tighten this in. So let me just put the camera down and I'll show you how far I get. All right, so I just got it loose. I mean, sorry, I just was able to get it on tight, so I can put it down now and start recording again. So essentially, I got the rivet through. So right over here, you can see that it's all the way pushed through. So just think of this thing grinded down, and this pin now is pushing this piece that way. So what I'll do now is, let me just see if I can continue to do this with one hand. So you can see, one thing that you want to make sure is, which I know this thing had a lot of poor reviews on Amazon, and I think the reason is they were saying that this piece would bend. And the thing is, you're talking about steel chain here, so it's not, you know, there's a lot of power and force that has to be done, and you know, there's a technique to it. So you want to be very slow, and if you see it bending, then you need to pull this pin out and make sure it's not going in crooked, because you're essentially just going to damage your tool, and it's going to be, you're going to have to end up buying a new pin. So and I'm not putting too much force in now, since it's already pushed through. Initially, when you're first trying to, you know, get it going, you know, you will have to put some force in. That's why I say just grind this thing down until it's completely flat, like you see over here. So bare metal. I mean, this chain is going to be trash, so it doesn't really matter to me about, you know, keeping it. So. All right, so right over there, I don't know if you were able to catch that, but right when I did that, it felt like the chain just released itself. That last turn was pretty, not tough, but you definitely felt it. So now it's very loose. So now what you can do is just take this thing out, or sorry, not take it out, just loosen it. Let me just do this with one hand now. Seems like it's faster that way. Okay, so here's the pin that just fell out. So this pin sits inside this housing. So just imagine this pin sitting like right over here in there, and you're just pushing it out. So I actually need to use this tool again. It's really tight still. And like I said, I'm just loosening it now. I'm not tightening anymore. I'm just gonna release the pin. Come on. All right, so there it is. So once again, think of it just sitting like that, and you essentially pull the chain out. So the chain is free, and let's just check on the tool. I'm curious to see if it's bent in any way. I don't think it is. It looks like it's still straight. So this video won't cover how to rivet the new chain, so I apologize for that, but I'll try to put a link in the description. I know I saw one video that was pretty helpful on how to put a new chain on, but you know, chain is free for $23, $24. You know, this is, even though it has bad reviews, I feel like it's still semi-decent. That's it. Leave a comment if you have any questions.